Hello and welcome to the Kanawha Valley Hustlers podcast. I am here today at Meetup 64 and I'm talking to Cameron. Cameron, tell me, what's your hustle?
I work for Prim Law Firm in Tays Valley. I am their PR coordinator and intake specialist.
So PR, for people that don't know, that means public relations. And tell us a little bit about what a PR person does.
So mainly my goal is to interact with the public, the media, events, anything that gets our name out to the public and creates a relationship with anybody that, our audience, the people we want to get to know and possibly maybe one day have as clients. But I actually, in my role, do a lot of marketing and advertising as well because I'm the only one in the communications PR department for us. So that's super cool. I get to design billboards. I get to pick billboards. I get to make brochures. A little bit of everything. So,
is there a specific area of law that you guys focus on?
Yes, we are personal injury, and we actually specialize in asbestos exposure, so mesothelioma and lung cancer. Yeah.
I'm very familiar with that space, actually. So tell me a little bit about, now that's a pretty difficult market. There's lots of people in that space that operate, lots of attorneys both inside and outside of state. I know there's a lot of like national firms that try. So do you know anything about that? Can you tell us a little bit about national firms that advertise locally?
Oh, I could talk for days about that. Attorney Prim could tell you even more. But the big firms are really hard to compete with, especially in the advertising, PR, marketing space. They overtake. They have way more money than any of us small firms do, but they don't care about your case like we do. They don't care about your case like any local small firm around here. They want money, and that's all they're after. And they honestly, most of the time, probably aren't even going to get you as much compensation in return as a smaller firm would because they're not going to work as hard on that case.
The kind of the best way that I think that I could describe it for people is you're kind of a number on a ledger board, right? It's like as long as they get enough, they're happy.
100%. You're 100% correct there.
So tell me a little bit about what kind of challenges. I know the world of, a lot of people have that when they think about attorneys, they think about advertising, they probably think about television commercials and stuff like that. But it's a different world today in 2024 than it was just 10 years ago. What kind of challenges do you run into in the modern digital and physical space?
Yeah, so 100%, I would say just in general, the attorney market is super saturated, especially personal injury in Putnam County where we are. There's a lot of personal injury attorneys. We love them all. But
some are better than others probably, but we won't talk about that.
Law firm. But I will say the hardest part for my job in this area has definitely been trying to figure out how to target audiences and groups because you don't look into attorneys and learn about them until you need one, or personal injury attorneys anyways. And it's hard to target that because you're targeting everybody pretty much. Anybody and everybody who could possibly be in an accident one day or get hurt, and you want to help them, but it's hard to narrow that down and reach those people directly sometimes.
Yeah, well, that's definitely a problem because you have to have a triggering event that gets you in touch with an attorney, right?
Yes, 100%.
So what kind of techniques do you use to try to stay top of mind?
So lately I've been trying to focus on our social media because that's something they lacked a lot before I started there. They didn't have somebody to keep up with it, and it takes a lot more work than anybody thinks. If you've tried to run social media for a business, it's a lot of work. On top of that, we just made some new brochures and got those put out in some local chiropractic offices, some doctor's offices, auto shops. We are also running a bunch of billboards right now with a new campaign. Local offices, local values, and local for what matters for you. I should know that better. I've been working on it for like 2 months. But yeah.
That's okay. I got you on the spot, so don't feel bad about that.
This is my first interview ever, so.
You're doing great.
Well, thank you. But yeah, no, it is a very difficult thing, especially when in school I focused on product marketing and product advertising. And now I'm advertising a service, and not only a service, but it's not an elective service. It's a service that you only need when you need it. And you don't want to have to have that service.
Right. Yeah. Nobody's excited about having to call an attorney, right?
Yeah, exactly. And in this day and age, what's the first, I get this every day, especially where I handle the intakes. What do people do when they need an attorney? They Google attorneys near me. Half the people don't even know that there's different kind of attorneys, but they're calling the first person that pops up with a good rating. That's just how it is. It doesn't matter. We do get a lot of calls. Luckily, Attorney Prim, who owns the firm, he is very involved with the county fairs and the youth in the community and all of that, and the FFA and fishing, bass fishing. And so that helps us a lot getting like word of mouth referrals and stuff. But in general, it's a competitive market when it comes to legal marketing because everybody's after the same stuff. There's just not enough accidents to go around, which is a good thing. But
definitely a good thing. Yes. But that gives us a little bit of a touch point here because I like to talk to my audience. My audience is made up of mostly entrepreneurs, small business owners, people like that. And it's important to understand the difference between the different types of marketing. When you're doing like search engines like Google, that's a different audience than if you're doing like billboards or something like that. It's the difference between top of mind awareness or somebody that's actually got an intent that they're searching, that they're seeking, right? They're in a different journey, right?
Yeah. You're completely right there. It's very difficult to figure it out. And, I'm only 22 years old. I just graduated last spring from Marshall. I'm in a master's program at WVU, but it's tough, jumping into this field, and it's just me there trying to figure it out. And it's a lot of learning. I am constantly reading books. I am constantly reading news articles. I'm constantly connecting with people I know who, are older and more experienced than me that can help guide me through this. So that's definitely a good tip if you're young like me. Definitely look to your peers. Look to people you've met before, even if you don't know them well. If they know your industry, talk to them. They can be a big help.
It's good to do that, but it's also good, you specialize in that position at your job. Your boss isn't trying to do all that kind of stuff. You run into it all the time, especially with entrepreneurs. They try to do all of the things, right? And, that might not necessarily be the best use of your time. It's better to find a specialist that can help you out in these different areas and can help you focus a little bit. I like to tell people it's important, you see all the different types of marketing, billboards, video, Facebook, Google, they're all different. And really, if you're a small business owner, you're an entrepreneur, you need to focus on one and get one nailed down before you try to do all things in all spaces, especially if you're a solopreneur by yourself. But you're in a little bit of a different space, but it still applies, right?
Yeah, no, we do use, an outside marketing team, and they are actually out of state. And that's something we're evaluating now. That was before I started here. But that is something I will push for always is support local. Remember that the local businesses can sometimes be the most impactful for your business. They're right there. They care a lot about what they do, and they're working really hard for what they do. There's no hate to bigger firms, bigger companies, corporate companies. They're great in their own way. But, with the campaign we're running right now, local offices, local values, local for what matters to you, I think it's really struck me how important it is to try and find local businesses that can substitute for some of those bigger businesses. Because you want to support the people around you, and they're going to care a whole lot about what they're doing because their family's dependent on that,
Awesome. Cameron, thank you so much. If anybody wants to learn more about you or your firm, where do they find more information?
They can contact me at ccollins@primlaw.com, or they can give me a call at my office at 304-201-2425, and you can just ask for Cameron and they'll connect you to me.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Cameron. Really appreciate it. Thank you so much for watching. And this is Joe Justice, the Kanawha Valley Hustler, reminding you to hustle hard, hustle smart, and hustle with a smile.